Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I'm Andy Meehan, your next Republican congressman from Pennsylvania District 1. Well, local Bucks County rhino absurdity has reached fever pitch on Thursday, October 31st, Halloween no less. The screaming headline, apparently, is that Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick donned his pro-Trump Republican Halloween mask in a MAGA masquerade, acting like one of us, by voting no on the corrupt and abusive Democrat impeachment inquiry. Social media was on fire with the cynical response by conservatives to the enablers and promoters of Congressman Fitzpatrick, who took to the airwaves to bring attention to the Halloween miracle of our Republican congressman bravely voting with all 196 of his fellow Republicans against the sham process led by shifty Adam Schiff. Prominent Fitzpatrick backers felt it necessary to broadcast the news of this courageous and momentous turning point in the Fitzpatrick era, when, for once, the congressman didn't succumb to his liberal California reflexes and once again throw President Trump and his supporters, us, under the proverbial bus. The sad fact is that it makes headlines when Brian Fitzpatrick votes Republican. Finally, they have one thing to say, one note to trumpet, one vote for President Trump. And that's one more vote than Brian Fitzpatrick cast in the 2016 presidential election, in which he did not and refused to vote for the Republican candidate, Donald Trump. Of course, the real news is not that Fitzpatrick voted no on impeachment. No. The real news is that this vote was news at all. Conservatives in PA01 have become punch drunk from their fake Republican congressman beating them over the head with hundreds of votes with Democrats over and over and over again. We also witness the maiden media voyage by conservative stalwart radio host Dean Malik to Washington, D.C. to do a Facebook Live interview with the congressman about his vote on Halloween. Isn't it interesting that the timing of Dean's first media visit to Fitzpatrick's D.C. office was on this very day when Fitzpatrick would cast this incredibly brave vote? The sad fact is it's news when Congressman Fitzpatrick votes with his party. Of course, everyone knows that a yes vote would have been political suicide for Fitzpatrick, so why all the hubbub, bub? I don't recall seeing Dean Malik standing next to Congressman Fitzpatrick after his vote for the Equality Act, forcing the transgender rights agenda into our schools, our sports, public facilities, businesses, and living rooms. I didn't see Brian Fitzpatrick looking down at Dean Malik standing next to him when Congressman Fitzpatrick voted with Nancy Pelosi, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and Rashida Tlaib voting to label President Trump a racist. I don't recall Dean Malik and Brian Fitzpatrick high-fiving on Facebook Live after Congressman Fitzpatrick was on CNN in October 2019, stating, and I quote, "Impeachment must be investigated by law enforcement." Nor did Dean ask Fitzpatrick why he wants to get to the bottom of the Ukraine phone call, but has never once stated, let's get to the bottom of his FBI mentor James Comey's corruption, or the biased and patently political hit job that was the Mueller report. No. Congressman Fitzpatrick doesn't want to get to the bottom of the Steele dossier. FBI corruption specialist Brian Fitzpatrick is stone cold silent on the shift of the John Durham investigation into a criminal probe of the abuse by the FBI and the CIA under James Comey and John Brennan. The Bucks County hold your nose Fitz fans cast a blind eye to all things liberal that their sacred cow does and says. In the eyes of the Bucks County establishment, fake Fitz's Trump mask, donned once on Halloween Day 2019, was presented as if it were Brian Fitzpatrick's true identity. In the eyes of the forgotten and abandoned pro-Trump Republican voters of Pennsylvania District 1, our Emperor Fitzpatrick has no clothes. The news of Brian Fitzpatrick supporting President Trump is too little, too late, and just too fake. I'm Andy Meehan, your next Republican congressman from PA District 1, and in case it wasn't obvious, gosh, I sure do approve this message.